Someone is completely taken over by thoughts of you. But right now, the two of you cannot be together. Your inner sense already knows this is true. Even when your mind tries to push it away, take a slow breath and listen carefully, because what you are about to hear is not random. And it is not something you invented inside your head. The person who just came into your mind did not show up there without a reason. There is a strong and quiet bond between you two, one that neither of you can fully describe or simply walk away from. It is not just a passing thought that disappears. It is something deep, steady, and impossible to push aside. They feel drawn toward you in a way that is both powerful and carefully held back. A kind of feeling they have never truly allowed themselves to have until this moment. Still, something keeps you apart. Something makes this connection feel not allowed, and understanding exactly why this is happening will change the way you see every single thought, every emotion, and every moment you have shared. Even when there is distance between you, someone out there is completely consumed by thoughts of you. But this special bond is not something that is permitted right now. This whole situation points to two important truths that you need to fully understand. Take a slow and steady breath before you continue, because this message did not find you by accident. If this silent love message speaks to something real inside you, press like so that others can also find this truth. You did not stumble upon this by chance. The person who appeared in your thoughts just now is there for a reason. There is someone connected to your life, or someone who keeps coming to your mind without being called, who shares a very deep bond with you. It is not a temporary emotion. It is not light, and it is not something that will go away quickly. It is profound, it is constant, quiet, and always present somewhere in the background. They are pulled toward you, but not in a loud, dramatic, or obvious way. It is a careful, held-in kind of feeling, something they have never allowed themselves to feel before. Yet this bond feels completely blocked. Not because love is missing, but because something stands in the path ahead. That blocked feeling points to two very important truths. These truths explain why the connection feels so intense, why distance exists between you, and why neither of you can fully move forward or let go of what is there. And before we go deeper into what those truths reveal, if this is already touching something real inside you, if you felt your breath shift just from hearing these words, subscribe to the channel right now and turn on all notifications. This space was created exactly for the people who feel things that others cannot put into words. You must first accept one simple fact. When a relationship feels limited, it does not mean something is wrong or weak. In truth, it often means the complete opposite. Restricted connections are rarely shallow. They do not begin when life feels easy and comfortable. They do not come from boredom or from empty moments. They are not built from loneliness or from a quick attraction that fades away. They come from a deep recognition inside the heart and the mind. This person did not decide to develop these feelings for you on purpose. It happened slowly at first and then all at once. In the beginning, you were simply someone they noticed. Then you became someone they admired, then someone they trusted. And then, without really understanding how, you turned into the one person they could not stop thinking about. What makes it restricted is not the absence of real emotions. It is the situation, the timing, the responsibilities, the fears, and the moral lines that stand in the way. This is the moment where the first important truth appears. This person battles an inner struggle every single day because of you. They are not fighting against you. They are dealing with their own deep feelings inside. They wake up already thinking of you and immediately remind themselves why they should not follow those thoughts. They replay your past conversations in their head and then scold themselves for smiling about it. They imagine what being close to you would feel like and then push those images away because wanting you feels dangerous. Not dangerous for their heart, but for the life they have built and the values they have held onto for so long. For some people, this means they are already committed to someone else. For others, it involves family expectations, cultural boundaries, social duties, or moral lines they were taught never to cross. Sometimes one of you is simply not free in a way that makes everything complicated. Sometimes this bond challenges everything they believed they wanted from their life. Instead of taking steps forward, they hold themselves back. Instead of speaking, they stay silent. Instead of coming closer, they watch from a distance. And here is something many people completely fail to see. Silence does not always mean there is nothing there. More often it means the feelings are so strong that they become difficult to manage. This person is not calm at all when it comes to you. Their emotions run deep, but they show them only in complete silence. They do not speak because speaking might open a door they are afraid they cannot close again. They do not act because acting would force them to face consequences they are not yet ready to handle. They do not come nearer because being close would expose things they have kept hidden even from their own awareness. Carl Jung once explained that whatever you resist tends to grow even stronger. That is precisely what is happening here. Every time they try not to reach out, the emotion intensifies. Every time they pull away, the bond becomes tighter. Every time they deny their real feelings, the connection sinks deeper into the background instead of fading. And feelings that are buried do not simply vanish. They grow more powerful with time. This explains the strange shifting energy you sometimes feel. Comment 111 if you are feeling this connection right now. It explains why you sense them even when they are not physically close. It explains why thoughts of them arrive at unexpected moments without any effort on your part. It is why your mood shifts for no clear outside reason. You might feel their presence around you even during quiet moments. You might notice a current of unresolved energy moving between you. That happens because hidden emotions do not disappear. They stay and they wait. Carl Jung said that until the unseen parts of the mind are brought into the light, they will keep shaping your life, and you may experience that shaping as nothing more than ordinary fate. Much of what connects you right now is hidden, unspoken, and unresolved. Because it stays beneath the surface, it moves quietly underneath, producing tension, strong emotions, and inner conflict. This person holds you in their private world silently, while the outside world sees only a composed and steady face. They may appear settled and balanced, but inside there is a constant pull working against itself, wanting followed immediately by holding back. This is not because you mean little to them. It is because you matter so deeply that it brings fear. They are afraid of disrupting lives, going against their values, or beginning something they would not be able to stop. Type sacred if you have ever felt this kind of silent pull with someone. That inner struggle is exhausting. It is why the connection sometimes feels heavy to carry. It is why the intensity exists even without direct conversation. It is why being apart does not bring real peace. Jung also wrote that when two people come together, it is like two chemical substances making contact. If any reaction occurs, both are permanently changed. You have already been changed. Both of you, whether you are aware of it or not, have been deeply transformed simply by knowing one another. Something inside you has shifted from feeling their presence. This is not your imagination. This is not a misunderstanding. This is a connection that reaches beyond ordinary logic and common explanations. And this is exactly why time alone cannot erase it. It is not kept alive by habit. It is kept alive by its genuine meaning and weight. Jung wrote that where love truly exists, there is no desire for control. In this bond, control is not the aim and power is not what fuels it. That is why it can feel so confusing at times. There are no games being played here. There is no attempt to manipulate or maneuver between you. There are simply two people touched by something neither of them expected and neither knows how to place within the ordinary patterns of their daily lives. As this understanding deepens, one truth becomes very clear. You are not simply a passing distraction in their world. You are not a mistake. You cannot be replaced or imitated by anyone else. You are part of a story that has already begun moving both of you toward a deeper and more honest understanding of who you truly are. As that understanding continues to grow, the real meaning of this restricted bond will keep revealing itself slowly, patiently, and quietly until the next truth is ready to surface. If you are still here listening, you are already among the rare few who are prepared to face what most people spend their entire lives avoiding. Most people scroll past messages like this one, not because they feel nothing, but because it touches them far too deeply. If this is already stirring something real inside you, subscribe right now and turn on notifications. What you are about to hear does not only describe restricted bonds and quiet love, it will permanently shift the way you understand yourself. As that reality settles in, something else becomes impossible to overlook. This connection does not behave like an ordinary attraction. It does not grow weaker with distance. It does not dissolve through reason or thinking alone. It does not go away just because it causes trouble. Instead, it follows both of you quietly, like a shadow that does not belong to one person alone, but is created by what happens when you connect. You might notice that even when you are busy and life needs your complete focus somewhere else, this person comes back to your thoughts without any effort on your part. It is not because you are trying to reach for them on purpose. It is because something not yet settled keeps coming back up. The same thing is happening on their side too. They might spend days looking completely unaffected. They might seem totally caught up in their job, their family, their daily routine, and their responsibilities. But the mind keeps returning again and again to what it cannot finish. They recall how you made them feel truly heard without having to explain much. They remember how natural it felt to simply be themselves around you. The feeling and the strange sense of having known you for a very long time. They remember moments that carried more weight than they should have. And that is exactly why it bothers them. Once you feel truly seen at such a deep level, you cannot erase that experience from inside you. This is where many people misunderstand the idea of complicated connections. They think the gap exists because one person feels less. But the truth is very often the complete opposite. Distance is not always caused by weak feelings. Sometimes it is caused by feelings that are far too strong. This person understands that if they move even one small step closer, they might not be able to return to who they were before. They sense that something lasting waits on the other side of being fully honest, and they are not yet prepared to break apart the life they have built so carefully, even if that life no longer fits who they are slowly becoming. So they choose control over openness. They choose their current situation over the full weight of their emotions. They choose the discomfort they already know instead of a truth they cannot fully trust yet. But there is a cost to that choice. Every time they push away what they truly feel, it does not disappear. It turns into something else inside them. It comes out as restlessness, as distraction, as a steady sense of emotional distance from the people they are supposed to be fully present with. They might begin to question relationships that once seemed strong and comfortable. They might feel like something important is missing without being able to name it clearly. They might wonder why they no longer feel at peace with answers that once gave them comfort. They may never say your name out loud in those moments, but you become a quiet inner measure. You represent a kind of emotional truth that they have not yet allowed themselves to live fully. This is why the bond always feels like it has not been completed. It is not only about two people missing each other. It is about two lives standing right at the beginning of a large and unavoidable shift. You feel this as well. Even if you cannot put it into clear words, you might notice that after this person came into your life, your expectations shifted quietly without any warning. What you are willing to accept in a relationship now feels very different. What you truly want has become much clearer. What you once tolerated without thinking now feels hollow and not enough. You might find yourself less willing to stay with someone who is only halfway present emotionally. You might have less patience for connections that have no real depth. You are now very aware of what genuine connection actually feels like. That awareness did not appear from nowhere. It came from recognition. This is where the second layer of meaning starts to reveal itself. This connection is not only about wanting another person, it is about waking up inside yourself. Some relationships are meant to create a shared future together. Other relationships exist to wake you up to your own inner truth. This one belongs completely to the second kind. Not because it can never grow into more, but because its deepest work is happening inside you. You met this person at exactly the right moment in your life when something inside you was ready to be moved. And they met you at the exact point when they were quietly beginning to question the life they had been living, even if they never spoke that doubt out loud to anyone around them. This is why the pull feels both very powerful and very confusing at the same time. You act as mirrors for each other. You reflect the parts they have kept buried, They bring out the sides of you that were waiting to come forward. This kind of connection does not follow normal timing. It does not rush. It does not arrive with obvious and direct signs. It works slowly inside you to shift your main priorities, your deepest values, and your sense of what truly matters. Right now, in this very moment, leave the number 1011 in the comments. In quantum thinking and in the meaningful timing that Jung explored, 111 marks the exact point when what is hidden becomes visible, when two energies that have been moving toward each other finally meet. If this message found you when you needed it most, that number is your way of saying yes. The channel sees every single comment left here. Drop 111 if you feel this was brought to you with a reason. That is precisely why even the silence between you feels full of something alive, because something is still moving underneath the surface. You might wonder why letting go feels impossible, why thinking it through cannot end it, why telling yourself nothing will happen does not actually bring you freedom. It is because this bond is not kept alive by imagination alone. It is kept alive by a truth that has not yet been fully lived out. And a truth that has been genuinely felt cannot be forgotten or set aside. You are not just holding on to a person. You are holding on to an experience of emotional clarity that changed you at your core, and they are moving through exactly the same process on their end. This does not mean you should wait forever. It does not mean you should pause your life. It does not mean you should trade your present for an uncertain future. It means you should fully understand what this connection is trying to show you. It is revealing how deeply your heart is actually capable of feeling. It is showing you the kind of connection that fills you with energy rather than draining it away. It is reminding you that real feeling goes beyond what is simply comfortable or free of risk, and it is doing exactly the same thing for them, whether they are ready to admit it or not. What comes next cannot be forced or created on purpose. It cannot be hurried by desire alone. It cannot be altered by staying quiet or by chasing after them. This is because this kind of connection only opens fully when honesty grows stronger than fear. Until that moment arrives, it stays in a space between not gone, but not fully here either. It is alive in thoughts, alive in feelings, and alive in those still moments where truth speaks gently instead of loudly. As time continues to move, the pull between who they have been and who they are truly becoming will keep getting stronger. The same is true inside you. Eventually, something has to shift, because a heart that has truly opened does not close again. And when that shift comes, it will not happen only from wanting it deeply. It will happen from being truly ready. Readiness does not arrive with big moments or loud announcements. It comes softly through built-up discomfort, and the slow, steady understanding that something inside no longer fits the life being lived. For them, this often begins as a quiet crack. They start to notice that the roles they play feel heavier than they once did. Responsibilities they once accepted without question now feel like walls. Their usual emotional habits feel empty, even when everything on the outside appears perfectly fine. You are not the cause of that crack. You are the light that showed what was already sitting there. You did not make their life fall apart. You simply made visible the parts that were already not fitting. That is exactly why this connection feels dangerous to them. Not because it puts their daily safety at risk, but because it threatens the carefully guarded image of the life they work to build. Comfortable lives are often built from carefully kept illusions. Truth requires taking real ownership. Truth demands courage. Truth asks a person to face what they feel and decide whether they have the strength to live in that honesty. Many people are simply not ready for that step when the feeling first arrives, so they wait longer. They build reasons to delay. They tell themselves it is only a passing phase that will fade. They tell themselves it is just their mind making things up. They tell themselves it will go away if they push it down hard enough and long enough. But deep connections do not fade when they are pushed away. They turn into pressure, the kind that builds quietly until it can no longer be contained. This is why you might feel waves of emotional closeness followed by sudden pulling back. Moments when they seem fully open and then without warning they retreat. Times when you feel a strong link between you without a single word being spoken. That back and forth movement is not about uncertainty toward you. It is an inner struggle happening inside them. They are standing at a turning point between the person they have always been and the person they are slowly but surely becoming. And you represent that turning point on your side as well, the very place where real change and real growth have already begun to take root. Something equally meaningful is also happening within you. You are developing the ability to see things with a rare kind of clarity. You are learning to separate strong emotion from true deep alignment. You are discovering the real difference between surface-level attraction and a bond that connects at a far deeper level. Leave yes in the comments if you want me to uncover the hidden truths of this deep and sacred bond.